after you have sewn down your flaps, your 4 flaps, you will come over and create a machine hem. Just like in practice, you will use your seam gauge, some pins, and the iron. You are going to move your seam gauge or sewing gauge down to 1/2 inch. So you will fold down from the open end or the top 1/2 inch. Make sure that you get about 1/2 inch all the way across. Okay. You can iron as you go. Put a pin in. Please make sure you are using pins. Pins really do help to keep it in place. Check your measurement so that you know you have 1/2 inch all the way across. Pin it down. Okay. Now, instead of doing 1 inch like we did for our practice, you're actually going to sew or fold it all the way down to the cuts. It's very important that you're stopping right here on the edge. You're not going over here, you're not passing it, you're not going way down here or way up here. You don't want to see any of the serge. You want to meet it at the corner. Okay? You will then iron this in place. Those pins are helping to keep your 1/2 inch where it belongs. Once you've ironed that, I'm going to remove the pin and just replace it. Notice I'm putting the pin down here and not up here. The reason I'm putting the pin here is to hold that 1/2 inch fold. If I put the pin up here, that 1/2 inch fold can come out. I don't want that to happen. I want to make sure that that 1/2 inch fold stays where it belongs. So I'm going to continue to pin and iron. I'm going to make sure that my other side matches up. Now, some of you may not have measured perfectly identical across. So this, now if I look, I'm a little bit too far past. That's okay. I'm going to go ahead and move it up so that it meets my corner. I'm going to iron that down and pin. Now, ideally, those would line up perfectly, but if they didn't, that's okay. Force it to match so that you have your seam right across. You will then take it to the machine and you will line it up to where the edge of the presser foot follows along this seam right here. If I use my presser foot, if this was still attached to my machine, I would line up the edge of the left side of my presser foot with this fold. That is going to help me to sew straight all the way across. That way my stitching is going to be right along here, and that's going to catch both the bigger fold and that 1/2 inch fold that we did before. That way we have a nice crisp edge instead of a raw edge that can unravel. We want to make sure to back stitch here and again back stitch at the end. When you are finished, and this is not the best example, but when you are finished, you should have a stitch right along the edge. It will be a little bit higher, but you will have stitched this edge down.